The next gun we're going to talk about is Shield Arms, a full or a complete build or just a lower receiver. So most people know Shield Arms as the company who increased the magazine capacity for the 43X and the Glock 48. They increased it from 10 rounds to 15, that's flush, and then 20 rounds with a magazine extension. Now, again, since I see this a lot in class, I'm gonna say it again. That is, if you get a metal magazine, you need to have a metal magazine release. Metal on metal. If you're running polymer mags, you need to run a polymer magazine release. Okay, so we don't interchange the two. You're either gonna chew the mags up or you're gonna end up chewing the mag release up. So metal on metal, polymer on polymer. That's generally how we know Shield Arms. However, they do complete rifle builds, and I think most interesting is their lower receiver. The first portion of the gun that I'm going to cover is the upper receiver. This one just happens to be a 10.5, 1-in-7 barrel twist. It's a black nitride coated barrel. Their rail I really like. This is what it looks like. It's an M-LOK. It's really sleek. It's definitely very lightweight, which makes running a can on it very nice. So pretty much standard, you get two options. One is an adjustable gas block. The other would be a fixed gas block. It just depends on how much you really want to tune your gun. They guarantee 1.5 inches in regards to groups. So 1.5 inches at 100 is not too bad. Probably pretty close to most other gun manufacturers within the industry if you're not paying for a precision barrel. So the gun handles well, it shoots well, but I think what interests me most is their lower receiver, and that's what we're going to talk about next. So just to give you an idea, this is a 10.5, like I said, folded. So when you look at this footprint, it's starting to get a lot smaller. That's one drawback to the AR platform, is that we have to deal with this buffer tube right here. And on a normal lower receiver, it starts to take up a lot of real estate. When you're moving something like this in and out of your vehicle, whether you're going to your house and or just a hotel or somewhere else, it's usually pretty noticeable. It's a really long bag and or Pelican kit. Even if you had this in a small Pelican kit, I mean, nobody would really think it could be camera equipment. So it's really nice to have this fold-in capability. So let's hone in on the lower. The first thing that you're gonna notice is this isn't an adapter. I like seeing the way the industry has gone. Years ago, the adapters came out and it temporarily kind of solved the problem, which was we now had foldable ARs. There are some drawbacks, I personally think, to adapters. Sometimes the machining on the lower or the upper, and you've got the bolt group going in and everything. I've had times where I've had markings on the top of my bolt group. And of course, I've also experienced malfunctions, and the markings are drag. So all of a sudden I've got drag going in because things weren't purposely built. Okay. I mean, you got to understand, people are putting certain dimensions on those adapters so that they can get retrofitted on lowers, and they're assuming everybody's going to hold to spec. The other thing, when you go to break this gun down, you don't have to be awkward about it. The lower and the upper will come off. I'll show you that here in a second. And there's no kind of adapter piece to get to this portion of the buffer right here. And that's one of the nice things about it. It's all kind of self-contained, and this is all one piece in regards to lower receiver, and it's really clean. So I'll break the upper off and I'll show you kind of a little bit more focusing on the lower so you can really see what you're getting. So my goal was to take this off real time so you can kind of see the difference. You'll first notice right here on this portion of the bolt group, We don't have any type of extensions that generally are designed when you're dealing with adapters to eat up the gap in between where the buffer and the spring are. So first of all, I don't have to worry about that other piece and sliding my upper off. Not like it was a huge deal anyways, but it's a lot cleaner system. And then I'm also not really messing around with my bolt group weight or anything like that. So everything's kind of running, in my opinion, in a normal fashion. I'm gonna take this off just so we can get a better look at the lower. One of the first things that I noticed with this lower receiver was right here where the charging handle normally is. And on some of the adapters, they stick out so wide that you have to really be careful in the way you're managing the charging handle now, because if you're not, you're gonna end up racking your fingers, and trust me, I've done it numerous times. So to take this portion of the area, and since it's built into the lower receiver, it's definitely slicked up a lot. There's a release on this side right here. Most people that I hand this gun to, especially if there's brakes and I'm like, hey, just take mine, just shoot it. At the end of the day, they don't realize it's a folder. And that's just because of how seamless this entire system is when you look at it. I think this is a really good gem. The reason why is because a couple things. One, it's lighter. So if you take an adapter, put it on a normal lower receiver, it's gonna be heavier. This is lighter. This is also steel on steel. This is also purpose built to their specifications. So everything's locking up, the bolt group's going in the way it should be, interfacing with the buffer and the spring. So this is all one solid unit. So again, steel on steel, and it's also lighter than when we put on adapters. Shield Arms has the patent on this system. They've also licensed it to other gun manufacturers. So there's a good chance you might have seen this exact setup with somebody else's name on it. Within the industry, there's a handful of companies that make lowers and uppers for everybody. And of course, a few barrel manufacturers as well. So that's not uncommon. Some of you guys know that, some of you guys don't. So nevertheless, they hold the patent on this. And you know, this system to put it on, of course, anything 5.56, 300 blackout. When you take this and you put it on, it's not the, I think it's not the Honey Badger. It's the, I forget what Q does. It's that little one that they have. It's not the Honey Badger. I don't know. They got a bunch of animal names over there and pandas and shit. But nevertheless, when you're looking at that, I think it's like a 6 or 7 inch 300 blackout barrel, man, that gun gets small. I'm talking, you know, backpack small. So I really like the way this lower receiver is. I know I'm going to be going out and retrofitting some of my other guns, so I have more than one. And what I do, at least for right now, and I know things can change, I just get the pistol version, so then I don't have to worry about SBR in it, at least not for right now, unless the laws change or something weird happens with BATF. But nevertheless, check out Shield Arms and take a look at this lower receiver or one of their full builds.